Hey everyone, it's Eric. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be restringing my electric guitar. This is a Fender American Deluxe Stratocaster. It's got locking tuning heads, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. But without further ado, let's get to it. While I've got the strings off, I'm also going to condition the rosewood fretboard and clean it up and polish it with some lemon oil and fingerboard conditioner, so you'll see me do that as well. First things first, we are going to take off this back plate here for our convenience. With this particular Stratocaster design, somehow the strings holes are a little bit higher than the back plate. I don't know why, it's weird. But we're gonna have to take it off. I'm just using a Phillips head screwdriver to unscrew it. Now it's not, strictly necessary to do this step, take it off, but I find that it's gonna just make things a little bit more convenient. Now the screws are small, so try and make sure you don't lose them. If you lose them, it's gonna be a headache, and wouldn't you rather spend more time playing guitar than having a headache? I would. That's a rhetorical question. Alright, loose enough. So just take the screws out. There are 6 screws. I'm just going to put the screws in here. Actually, no, I won't. I'll just lay them here. 6 screws. Alright. Take the back plate off. There it is, our back plate. Just put that here. Here are where our strings are gonna come through. Now we're gonna turn this over. Now we're not gonna need a very long time with this actually. So we've got some Elixir electric guitar strings, some light 10 to 46 gauge coated strings, coated with their nanoweb technology. Just take that out. So I like to start with the lower or thicker strings first. We're going to do it that way, so I'm just going to reorder them here for my convenience. 46 to 10. Okay, let's have a look at these locking heads. As you can see here, there's this part that kind of screws and locks. There's the nice Fender logo there. What this is doing is actually clamping the string in place so that it stays in tune more. See this hole here where the string is? Inside the hole, this screw is gonna clamp the string in right there. This affects us in a number of ways. Let me just go through them now. Firstly, it's gonna help the string stay in tune, right? So you don't have to tune as often, and even if you play really heavy, it's not going to, slip and slide out of tune. Secondly, as you can see here, there's no coils. You don't really coil them that much. You stick them in, you bend them, and you coil them maybe like halfway. And I'll go through that as we go along. But as you can see, there are no coils, okay? And thirdly, it's also going to affect how easy taking the strings off is going to be. So what we're going to do now is just loosen our strings. Other way. Loosen our strings a little bit before we unclamp them. Make sure there's some slack. We're also, while we're here, we're paying attention to how the B and the high E string are underneath this, whatever you call it. I don't know what you call it. All right, everything is sufficiently loosened. So we're gonna go ahead and just unscrew the lock from the underside. Okay, I'll show you guys. So just unscrew it anti-clockwise like that. You can hear that it's unlocking and I can feel it too. Just loosen them. Don't loosen them all the way. You don't have to. You probably shouldn't. You know, it might come off. All right, then we just pull the strings through. Or, you know, I thought that I could actually get away with not even snipping the strings. Maybe we can. Yep. All right. So we're just going to pull the strings through like this. They have been bent. Obviously, the person who restrung this last, I don't think it was me. I think it was a luthier. Or a repairman or whatever. Bent the strings like that. I wouldn't have done it like that personally. I would have just tightened them a bit and then clamped them and then tuned it. Okay, this. All right. There, nice and easy. This is a really quick job because there's no coiling. All right, turning it over. Just be here. Strings are gonna come out. Just push them all out. They've been stuck in this tension for some time. Okay, let's just do it one by one. I was greedy and I wanted to do them all at the same time, but you know, sometimes you just can't. All right, second one. I'll just put this on my leg. Do you guys like this color? Guys and girls, I mean. I love this color. This is called Olympic White. It's a nice, awesome, creamy color. These ones are kind of difficult, actually. All right, this one, good. You just sort of have to push them out and make sure they don't get stuck. So just sort of shimmy it, push, pull, push, pull. Okay, so we got high E string out with the help of trusty Mr. Toothpick. There we go. Okay. Okay, so another idea is just to stick your long, thin thing like this toothpick right inside this string hole, just to force it out. There we go, okay. This took longer than I thought it would, longer than I wanted to, but whatever. Sometimes things don't go as planned. All right, I'm just gonna chuck these strings here for now. Be careful that you don't step on them or whatever. Right. We are going to use some lemon oil and some fretboard conditioner to condition our fretboard. So, grab a cloth or some paper towel. Dab a couple of drops. Maybe for good measure, I'll just dab some here. Now this is a rosewood fretboard. It's a dark wood and you need to oil it and you need to polish it frequently. Do as I say, not as I do. Because I don't think I've done this for years. You don't want it to dry out. If it dries out, it's going to crack. And if it cracks, it's no good. So, with our paper towel, we're just going to rub across the frets, just like that. I guess the lesson is just buy a maple fretboard, not a rosewood one. But I like rosewood. All right, that's oiled up. Then we're gonna go in with our conditioner. Just give it some spray action. Fold that in half. Rub it on. Easy. There you go. Good. Alrighty. So, let's restring. Make sure all these little head things are turned so that they are facing downwards. Now, I'm going to do it a little bit differently to how we saw at the start. With the locking heads, and you know, I might be wrong, I'm not a luthier, I'm a sometimes pretend musician. But with the locking heads, you just put it in, give it a little bit of slack, lock it, wind it up a little bit to tune up, and that is it. So that is how simple it should be. Well, at least in my opinion, I don't know if this is right or wrong. I'm sure that, you know, even in the professional luthier community, there will be people that disagree on how best to do these, but there we go. That's what I'm gonna do. So, don't even worry about your fretboard being dry or not. It will come dry in the end. Stick your string in to the back like this. All right, make sure you got the right order, no crisscrossing. Simple as anything. Go in, high E, pull it out. All right, I'm gonna lay it flat. So, as I said, we're just gonna stick it in. I'm just gonna stick it in. Give it a tiny bit of slack, okay? Lock it in place. Do not over tighten this. Wind it up. Now, if you have a lot of winding to do, then make sure your your string is going underneath the winds, underneath the coils. In fact, I think I've done a bit too much winding here, but it's okay. So, that's it, good. That is how simple and easy it should be. Our next string, A string, let's go. We'll fix up the tuning afterwards. So once again, string string goes in, second slot from the back, over here, second slot from the back, from the top, all the way through. This is in our way, all right. This goes in. Give it a little bit of slack, not even a full fret. Lock it up. All right, that's locked. Start winding. It is kind of slipping as you wind because we did have that little bit of slack. So make sure, as I said, your string is going underneath the winds. Maybe there's a bit too much winding here actually. Did I say that last string? I'm pretty sure I said that last string. All right. Number 3. Just rinse and repeat. There we go. Third from the top this time. String in, through, pull all the way. Okay, I'm going to give it less slack this time. I think I've been winding it too much. In. See, guitars like this are such a pleasure to restring because it's just so easy. Little tiny bit of slack, less than the last 2 times. Lock it in place, wind it up. In fact, I'm sure you might be able to find someone that says that you shouldn't give it any slack at all. But you know, whatever. As I said, I'm not a luthier, just a pretend musician. A failed musician. How about that? So with these, we're winding it until it's tight. We'll tune it up later. Good. 4th string. Maybe this is why Bob Dylan went electric. He got tired of restringing his acoustic guitars. 4th slot from the top, in, through, all right. Lock, wind, now you don't even need a string winder for this. If you use a string winder, you run the risk of winding too much and then you'll just snap your string because there's too much torque. All right, we're on to the penultimate string, our B string. Once again, in through the back, this time 5th slot from the top, through, pull it all the way, feed it in here, into our knot. Is this our knot? This is our knot. Remember, this string goes underneath this little contraption here. So we want to make sure that it does. Tighten the lock, start winding. I didn't really leave any slack on that one, but that's okay. In fact, it could even be preferred. I don't know. Last string. See, we're doing this at a breakneck speed. Man, how do you undo this? There we go, high E string. Lastly, last slot from the top. Lucky number 6. Through, whoop. All the way through. All right. In our correct nut slot. Feed it through. I will give it a little bit of slack this time. All right, okay, that'll do. Lock it in place. Coil. All right, there you have it, guys. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna tune it up and then I'm gonna snip the strings off. I'm not gonna talk while we do this. All right, that'll do. Okay, that's done. Let's snip the strings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I've tidied up the place a little bit. Now it's time for us to put the back plate back on the guitar. Okay, 6 screws. We're just gonna put the diagonal ones in first and secure the whole piece. Alright, our Phillips head, top left, screw it in a bit, bottom right, same thing, top right, bottom left. Okay, can go ahead and tighten these. Not fully, doesn't need to be fully tightened, this one. You know, the chances of it coming out are kind of slim. Just tighten it enough. Alright, last 2 screws. Alright, there you have it. Back plate on, strings restrung, all tuned up. That is how you restring Fender American Deluxe Stratocaster with locking tuning heads. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you next time.